In this video, I want to talk about one obvious red flag of a bad relationship. Before I mention that red flag, understand the following. A bad relationship does not automatically imply that you're dealing with a bad individual. If you're dealing with a bad individual, then automatically the relationship will be bad also. A bad relationship is any type of relationship. I'm not just talking about sexual relationships here. I'm talking about all types of relationships. A bad relationship is a relationship in which you are hindered from being fully you. With fully you, I don't mean all those toxic defense mechanisms that the world taught you. Because the world conditioned us in toxic defense mechanisms, and often we identify with those toxic defense mechanisms and we say things as, that's how I am, or we call ourselves introverts or whatever, or we claim that we have boundaries, all types of toxic defense mechanisms that we identify as ourselves. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about your baggage, your emotional and mental baggage that the world has caused you to have. I'm not talking about that. With being fully you, I mean you being the real you. You are a vulnerable creature, you are a spirit being, and also vulnerable at the same time. And as a spirit being, you ought to be spiritually active. And when you're spiritually active, you will realize that you need Christ. And when you walk by faith, you will walk in power. You will walk in life and abundance. And that's how you'll overcome difficulties around you. That's how you will overcome violence around you. So by being fully you, you're being completely safe, abundant, and secure. Any relationship that hinders this, any relationship that hinders or undermines you from being fully you is a distraction, and in the worst cases, it's an assignment from Satan to destroy you. And the other individual you're involved with doesn't have to be a bad individual. It can also be that that individual is a target of domestic violence, for example. You're not aware of it, but this individual is the focus of negative energy, he or she is the focus of negative contention. So it can be that Satan pushes this individual into your life or gets into your affairs. Why? Because that individual is the target of domestic violence, right? So those that target that victim soon will target you. It can be that you're dealing with someone. It can be someone at work, or maybe someone in your family or wherever. It doesn't have to be in a sexual setting. You're dealing with someone and sooner or later you have headaches, you have accidents in your home. I was thinking, why are all this bad stuff happening? You're dealing with someone who's a target of domestic violence. And now Satan grants relief to that target by redirecting the anger towards you. So now the other individual has relief, and now you're dealing with the anger of those that were targeting the victim. So now you are the one that's in danger, while the original target is at ease. Now, the original target may not have intended this way. The original target is not even aware that Satan used him or her to put you in danger. And the original target is not even smart enough to realize that he or she is being violated. Whether by their parents or by their spouse or by people at work, they're not aware of it. And that's why people keep victimizing them, because they don't realize it. So Satan brought that victim in your life to victimize you. Now the victim did not victimize you, but Satan used that individual to victimize you. That is why you need to have discernment when you're reaching out to people. Just because someone is asking for help doesn't mean you should help. Oh, let me repeat this. It may sound very hard and very cruel, but listen to what I'm saying. Just because someone asks for help doesn't mean you should help, even if it's in your power to do so. You should examine the situation to see whether or not it's a trap. I don't care how sincere the individual is. If the individual is not alert and not willing to see the bigger picture, or if the individual is too invested in the negative context that's haunting him or her, then you need to be cautious. You need to act with caution. Apart from that, it can also be that you're involved with someone that does not blame you, but they always expect things from you. And the things they expect from you cannot be accounted for. They'll never say to your face because they can't explain it, but they're upset with you. But then carrying this disappointment will undermine you. Let me explain why. They are meditating negatively about you, not realizing that they're harming you with their disappointment. So those are also people that you shouldn't be involved with because they don't want to examine themselves. Understand the following, believer. Any relationship where you are hindered or undermined from being fully you is a bad relationship. I don't care how sweet, how kind, how sexy, or how handsome or how pretty the other individual is. I don't. I don't care how talented they are. I don't care how good they know scripture. If it undermines you, the relationship undermines you from being fully you, the relationship needs to go. Online, there are many gurus from the world. Some are licensed psychologists, others are just plain psychologists. But in any case, you have many gurus in the world that give relationship advice. And the things they tell you are practical. But all those things are focused on getting relief from bad situations. I'm not talking here to instruct you how to get the best relief. I want you to be delivered. I want the danger to be over when it comes to you. I want the danger to be destroyed around you. I don't want you to be relieved from the danger while the danger is still in existence. I want the danger to be destroyed. That is why I'm telling you, evaluate your relationships. And the red flag I want to mention is the following. You feel like you failed. The idea of failure itself is a worldly thing that you need to be delivered from. When you feel sadness that indicates that you failed in a relationship, examine whether you should be in that relationship or not. Let me explain why. Failure has to do with an expectation that has to be met. If the expectation is met, you're happy. If not, you feel bad. So it's a drug that you're chasing. It's a high that you're clinging on to. Now, that clinging on that high is bad. And the relationship you're in should reveal how bad it is and provoke you to seek for solutions. The moment you're in a relationship and you are empowered in chasing this high to succeed, that relationship is a bad relationship. The world will tell you that if you're in a relationship and you're provoked to do better and better, that's a good thing. Now, I'm here to tell you not the opposite, but I want to give the wide perspective to you. Yes, relationships should motivate you for better, absolutely. But when you're stuck at this drive to do better and you feel threatened when you don't do better, that means that the relationship is used to enable some defectiveness you need to be delivered from. It can be that in your thinking, you still have patterns of the world you need to be freed from. And now you're in a relationship that triggers and enables those patterns. The moment you feel like a failure or that you failed in the relationship, it can be that it's time to leave that relationship. Relationship should be empowering and they should be reflective. Empowering in the sense that they enable you to be fully you, and reflective that they cause you to reflect on yourself in a constructive way. The moment a relationship does not cause you to reflect on yourself in a constructive way, they can also not empower you. The moment a relationship does not provoke you nor cause you to reflect positively upon yourself, you need to get out of there. As simple as that. And don't come with excuses, or their family, or what I'm married with him, or the sex is so good. I don't care. I don't. Really, I don't. What I do care about, what I'm concerned about, is your safety and your well-being. If a relationship undermines your safety and your well-being, you need to get out of there. And don't bother with what you will lose. Because if it endangers you, then what you have in the relationship isn't worth it to begin with. Let's say someone gives you an option. You can get 10 billion euros, but you only have 30 minutes to live after you get the 10 billion euros. So within 30 minutes, in a half hour, you'll be killed, you're dead. But you'll be able to spend 10 billion euros within 30 minutes. If someone would tell you you're going to get 10 billion euros, a lot of people get excited, thinking, whoa, I'm becoming one of the richest people on earth. But if you tell them the second condition, you only have 30 minutes to live, people think, what? So today my life is going to end, but I'm going to get 10 billion euros to spend in a half hour? How can I spend 10 billion euros in a half hour? That's impossible. Or if they would tell you, you only have a year to live, afterwards people think, oh, no. Why receive billions of euros and you only have a year to live? What's that? That's how it is with bad relationships. It appears promising. It appears promising. That's why I repeat it appears, but it's not promising at all. So examine the relationships you are involved in. Look, am I saying that relationships ought to be easy and euphoric all the time? That's how it ought to be amongst believers. But we're in the world, there are trials and tribulations, so from time to time, things can be rough. I understand that. But even when things are rough, when things are difficult, those relationships ought to be empowering and self-reflective in a positive way. If they're not self-reflective in a positive way, get out of there. Be at peace.